Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A pleasure to be with you here in beautiful Cannes. Maybe you could begin with an introduction to your incredible film, Omen. What can people expect when they watch it?
So the Omen is a movie that talk about four characters considered as sorcerer and witches, and in a phantasmagorical Africa. The country is not specified, and it's talking about how these four characters gonna help each other against patriarchy, against structural dominance, assignment of being considered a witch and sorcerers.
And so many different elements that go into the film, and I know you've got a background in music and
Yes.
art, and so that kind of infuses it. But maybe you could just start a bit about with the story itself and how your own personal experiences informed the story. I know the passing of your father, for example. So maybe just talk a bit about that and how you came up with the story that's in the film now.
Um, it's a very long question. It's difficult for me to make it short, but yeah, I wrote this movie early 2019 after my dad passing, uh, as a way to deal with it, with grieving, because we live in a society that tells you that grieving is 3 days or 5 days in certain communities, and for me, it took me the times of the writings to process, and I think the grieving per se just happened a year after. But the writing really helped me to be free, because before that I wrote three scripts that get rejected by film funding, and I think those films were just trying to follow the mold and what to do to get money and to get supported. And on this one, I decided, and fuck it, I'm just gonna do me.
And maybe you can talk a bit about like the location, because I know you have your roots in Congo, but
Congo.
obviously you live in Belgium, and how kind of basing it in that place, or providing this kind of cross between two worlds, also is a key part of the story.
I think the location is a place. It's gonna sound strange to say this, but in a way, that's what it is. The location is an unknown place that doesn't really exist, because the movie is shot between Kinshasa, which is the main cities, and Lubumbashi, which is the economical center of the city, of the country. And there is 3,000 kilometers between these two cities and no road. So there is a political reason behind this. So I blend these two cities together, and they have nothing in common as Copenhagen to Barcelona have in common, because it's culturally so different. So I wanted to play with this, and also playing with different point of view as for the cast. But like for example, you have some New Orleans parade mask that doesn't exist in Congo. We have some folklores that coming from Europe, or even just the word augure, which is translated by Omen, is a Greek culture, or the minor culture from the north of France and Belgium. All it's a mix of different situations that we're not in a realistic, naturalistic cinema, so we cannot watch it like this is real fact. It's staged,
And I know,
100%.
I know you've said that the protagonist is not specifically based on you, but how might have you, you know, jumped off from your own experiences and fused that into the character? In what ways is he completely different from you?
Yeah, it's not based on me because, to be honest with you, the character, because I've been saying this today a lot, but the character's coffee is a MacGuffin. So you think that that's going to be the subject matter of the movie is going to be the return to his homeland after 18 years, but we understand after an hour in the movie that coffee has a chance to come and leave. It can go back. The real victim are the one that has to stay, and so that's why the movie is not really about coffee, and I can relate more with the narrative of the mom, of the sisters, because they have no option than to live under this society structure.
And can you tell us a bit about your wonderful cast, and particularly putting Marc in that lead role?
Yeah, so there is Mark is one of the lead role. I will say that they're all leading role. Mama Mujila, played by Yves Marina, is a fantastic actress, playing the mom. It was just a great pleasure working with all these actors. I also think Marcel Nimes, who's playing Paco, the street kids, is a fantastic actor as well. He's not trained. He's from the Congolese theater scene, and he delivers something incredible. So it was really a big pleasure working with all these people.
And in terms of what you were saying there about, we perhaps are used to sort of a particular kind of visual style, this very naturalistic style of cinema. And is it quite sort of freeing and liberating to sort of do away with that and delve into, using your music background, using an artistic background,
Yeah.
going into the realms of magic realism? And what kind of different space does that put us in terms of the story?
Sorry, the last part?
It puts us in a different space, perhaps,
Yeah,
than what we're used to watching.
I try to uh, to create a narrative that is based on magical realism, like Italian cinema is based on that, or South American, Spanish cinema has more this grandeur kind of approach, which is less common in more realistic cinema, or more social, more naturalistic cinema that we are watching the most. But I grew up in Belgium, where Magritte and the primitive culture is really surrealism is all over the place. It's part of the Belgian DNA. It's part of the Congolese DNA. So I thought it was interesting that we also can embrace that we don't have to stick to the fact and reality, and is more using as a allegory, as a metaphor to touch different subjects. Yeah.
And in terms of the themes that sort of emerge from the story, kind of, using this idea of the sorcerer to explore like patriarchal traditions,
Yeah.
what do you think the themes are, and what do you want people to take away from watching it in that sense?
No, I think it's interesting the social assignment. I think the social assignment is one of the main subject of the movie. It's like how people are considered by their appearances, and it's something that we all going through, whatever place on earth we are. I would say from India to London is the same issue. The society judge you by your appearances.
And what does it mean to you to have your film playing here at Cannes Film Festival?
Oh, like you said, coming from the music, I'm not into the glitters and the glamours, because we know that in music as well. And we also know that what is the most important is, for example, as music, as in cinema, is to coming back, is to have a more than 3, 5 years career. It's difficult in music for people to have more than 2 albums. We can mention 500 people, so it's great that we have I think 12 African movies, but the idea will be interested if we can have 12 African movies in 2030. Then that will be a big accomplishment. But on a personal level, it gave me a certain freedom to make a second film.
And of course, you didn't have sort of formal training in film. And you've kind of, your short films kind of done off your own back in terms of financing and things
Yeah.
like that. It must have taken a certain amount of courage to go that route. But how did kind of learning on the job, let's say, maybe give you some, this bravery in filmmaking that other, sort of more traditionally trained
Yeah,
might not have, directors might not have had?
yeah, because I'm not coming from film school, so I don't grow up like a lot of directors I know in Belgium, where they talk about Cannes every year, and I swear on my daughter, we don't talk about Cannes before. We're not gonna talk about after, because it's. I'm not raised like this. I did commercial, and I know that for film people, commercial is a minor creation, but commercial helped me to tell the narrative in less than 1 minute, to be able to tell a story in a very limited time. And this is basically we shot this movie in 23 days. So because yeah, we just had above the million to make the movie, so it was really limited. And all this experience as a musician, as doing my own film, own video, helped me to be able to create this whole experience because it formed you. It's the best school ever.
And do you think, hopefully, you know, having a platform like this film festival will make, you know, the future projects a lot easier than the ones you've had before? And do you already know, like, do you have your eye on what you'd like to do next?
Yeah, I'm working on another feature film, a mid-length film as well, and different project. Yeah, I'm yeah, I love working. So and I just think that creativity is really a muscle, and we have to train that muscle. And we're in the society that tells you that only the youthness, only people have skills when they're young, and I kind of disagree with this. I think you have you have talent and ideas if you train, if you keep working, if you do mistakes, if you go wrong. And we just have this idea of one director out of 5,000 that is 25 years old and is brilliant, and we want to put that on a pedestal. And we do this with everything. We do this in commercial, in music, in every art form. We praise the youth, but I also think that in arts we have to respect that it's a long term, it's a long journey, and you have to do mistakes and you have to grow up to understand what you're doing, and not only expecting that you can do one great piece. And what is interesting is that you can reinvent yourself, keep going. Yeah.
And in terms of looking at the broader landscape, do you think there's a lot more opportunities, whether within film festivals or more broadly in cinema, for different voices? And are there any other filmmakers out there that you either idolize or they're upcoming that you really like the look of?
Of course, there is a lot of great upcomers. But then I don't know. I love Jonathan Glazer. He's a genius. I love Steve McQueen. I love Barry Jenkins. I love, like I said, the Italian masters, my heroes. I love Spanish cinema, which is extremely colorful as well, but narratively well structured and integrate. Integrate. How you say this?
Intricate?
Integrate. Integrate. Nicely structured narrative. Spanish movie and South American are extremely. The writing is exceptional.
Just one final thing. I read that you were really looking forward to your daughter seeing the film because you've like dropped in lots of little references or little things. Is that right?
To be very honest with you, I'm only nervous for my daughter to watch the movie because there is a lot of little dedication to her through the whole movie. It actually starts with her name as a fake commercial, fake bank logo. So when she's gonna see it, I don't know how she's gonna react. So I think about this a lot, and yeah.
Well, really enjoy it despite that
Thank you so much.
trepidation. And thank you so much for sharing all that with us. Really enjoyed presenting your film here in Cannes. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so